With the Eagles kicking off OTAs, we take a look at the biggest storylines surrounding the team as they hit the practice field. Plus, we count down the newcomers we're most excited to see in uniform tomorrow. And the Eagles might have a big decision to make in the near future. Who do they keep long-term, Jalix Hunt or Nolan Smith? We explore the options. Welcome into an Eagle Eye Takeover edition of Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Along with my podcast partner, Ruben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. Rube, this week the Eagles are back on the field at OTAs. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, not as much as you. Dave will be in a tent tonight, overnight, on Patterson Avenue, right outside the Jefferson Health Training Complex. First sign of light, you'll be up and going inside and getting ready.
Not quite, but I am excited. It's the first chance to see this team together for 2026. That's exciting.
It is. It is. A lot of old timers and a lot of new stuff, new coaches, new players. It'll be fun to see.
Yeah, that brings us to our three-point stance presented by Toyota. And today we're using it to take a look at the top three storylines for OTAs. And number one, pretty obvious, Sean Mannion's arrival. The Eagles' new OC takes the reins of the offense this season. He spoke to reporters last week and certainly made a great first impression. Here's Mannion on what we should expect from his offense.
I mean, I think the biggest thing we want our offense to look like is we talk about play style a lot. You know, playing with great effort, great physicality, being great teammates. So I think it's when you turn on the tape, what does the Eagles offense look like? Those are the things we really want to stand out, just as a broad stroke. Now, obviously, there's things I believe in, and there's things you know that schematically, you know, I have a background in, but ultimately it's going to be a blend, and it's constantly going to evolve, and it's all with that exact goal in mind that you just said, right? It's about maximizing things for the players. How do we make the Eagles the best team we can be? How do we make the Eagles offense the best it can be? And how do we put all of our players in a position to really, really succeed and maximize their strengths?
So that was pretty good to hear from Sean Mannion, but what do you expect to see on the field from his offense starting this week?
Well, they've only been together a couple weeks on the field, and this is the first day of OTA, or it'll be about the third day of OTAs, first day we're in there. So you don't want to get your expectations too high, but yeah, you want to see comfort level with the receivers and tight ends, with Jalen. I think that's the number one thing you're going to look for, and Jalen's comfort level with Sean Mannion and what he's calling, because Jalen's going to be asked to do some new things. How much of that we see at practice, I don't know yet, but I can't wait to see just how the whole thing starts coming together. These are the early stages of getting this offense going, but I think we'll have a pretty good sense of where everyone is after one day.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And look, it's going to build on itself. They're still installing. That's going to continue through training camp. And eventually we'll see a lot of the new elements of this offense. But, you know, the one word that Sean Mannion kept saying last week was blend, about blending the offenses. And I think he's going to do that, but they brought him here for a reason. They really like this scheme. So we're going to see new stuff at some point, right?
Yeah, I want that blend to be like, you know, you get a shirt, it's like 90-10. I want it to be like 95% Sean Mannion and 5% pre-existing Nick Sirianni, whatever's left over from last year. I want to see a lot of newness this year.
Yeah, and look, I think based on them going through that search, identifying that style of offense, and then hiring a guy who's kind of majored in it his entire NFL career, I think that kind of tells you which way they're going.
Yeah, you don't hire Sean Mannion to run Nick Sirianni's offense. Yeah. No doubt about that.
You would hope not, at least.
They better not.
We'll get our first glimpse of the offense, but our second OTA storyline is the trade that hasn't happened yet.
What trade is that, Dave?
June 1st, now less than a week away, and all indications are A.J. Brown will eventually be dealt to the Patriots when that time comes. But in the interim, we'll speak with plenty of soon-to-be former teammates about how all this went down. Do you think we'll get any sort of clearer picture about all that, Ruben?
I don't think so. Maybe there'll be a comment or two you read between the lines and get a sense of where this all kind of fell apart. But look, they're not going to come out, and I mean, they're friends. These guys are friends. Most of them are friends with him or were friends with him at one point. They're not going to come out and criticize him. You're not going to hear anything negative coming out about A.J. Brown. He helped them win a Super Bowl. He helped them win a ring. He's had some great years here, some incredible games, amazing catches. He's been a really good Eagle, so I don't expect anything negative to come out. You move on. These guys are used to it in an era of free agency. Guys come and go. This is a little different because he's not a free agent. He's going to be traded, but I just think that everyone's going to take the high road on this.
Yeah, especially, I mean, before anything happens, no one's going to say a word about a trade that hasn't happened yet. Maybe after that, maybe we start to learn a little bit more. Maybe.
Possibly. Eventually some stuff might come out, but really it's about moving on, and you wish him luck. Everyone's going to say, good luck to him, except when we're playing them. Which would be the Super Bowl if they do play.
Yeah, speaking of moving on, let's talk about Devontae Smith a little bit. He's slated to take on an even bigger role in this offense. And take a look at this picture, Rube, posted by the Eagles. He look a little beefier to you? He's been working out, I think.
Is that AI or what? Is that a real photo? He looks good, yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah, he does. He looks pretty solid. And the way he plays the game is good to see, because he's such a tough guy, but he plays so physically. He's always making tough catches in traffic and going up against tough corners. So it's good to see him. And he's been a durable player. He missed a few games a couple of years ago. He's been a pretty durable player since he got here at that size. So seeing him a little beefier, certainly good sign.
And look, it just speaks to how good of a player he is. That we're talking about the Eagles trading one of their all-time greats at the position, but we still think they're going to be okay because they have Devontae Smith now as their wide receiver one. Like, I don't think there's anyone in that building who has any doubt in Devontae Smith in that role.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think anybody who's watched him play has any doubt either. I think the only people that might have doubts are people that might look at the numbers and say, well, he's had 1,000-yard season. He's never made a Pro Bowl. He's never had the same numbers. Last year, he and AJ were similar, but to me, he's a 1. He's a 1A. He always has been. He can handle it. If you increase his targets, his production is going to go up. I'm a huge fan of Devontae. I think he's got a chance to be an all-time Eagle. You say that about AJ. Mm-hmm. I think when all is said and done, I think we're going to see that Devontae Smith has been an all-time great Eagles receiver as well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Our third OTA storyline, who's healthy? Last we saw Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, they were getting stem cell therapy in South America, Rube.
Yeah, it's concerning, and you never want 40% of your offensive line to go to South America for treatment. But hopefully they're both healthy. We'll see tomorrow or on Wednesday if they're healthy, if they're practicing, or if they're on a side field with a trainer. Certainly be encouraging if they're both out there working and practicing. They're so good. They're both such great players when they're healthy. And we saw 2 years ago just how important they are to this team. And last year was tough watching them. They were both kind of a shell of their previous selves. And if they can be healthy, this offense has a chance to be just, I think, one of the best offenses in the league. If they're not, they don't have a lot of depth at the interior O-line, some young, untested depth, but they certainly need both of these guys to get back playing the way they used to.
Yeah, they do. They need those guys healthy. We'll also get a look at safety Drew Makuba, who missed the end of last season with that fractured ankle. He's someone we also want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, not a lot of depth at safety, certainly, either. They're counting highly on him and Marcus Epps. There's not a lot behind them. Michael Carter is one guy, but he hasn't really played a lot of safety. Makuba, I thought, played well the last month before he got hurt. Kind of had some ups and downs early in the season. He was a rookie. He's a rookie filling into the starting lineup. But I thought he was really coming on. And if he can pick up where he left off at the end of last year before he got hurt, they'll be in good shape.
And they're going to need him to. No more Reed Blankenship, so he's now the top safety on the depth chart. Time to settle into the Birds Lounge, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. With OTAs kicking off, we're going to count down the newcomers we're most excited to see out on the field. Plenty of new faces to choose from, Rube, after a busy offseason. Let's start at number 5. It's receiver Dontavian Wicks. He was acquired in a trade with the Packers. You might forget about him a little bit because the Eagles added after that, but he still figures to have a pretty big role.
Yeah, he's got a comfort level with Sean Mannion. They were together in Green Bay. He's a good player, and obviously they've traded for him. They didn't just sign him and they gave him some money. So he's a guy that they think highly of, and I think out of that whole next group of receivers behind Devontae and Mekhi Lemon, I would expect him to be the next guy in that rotation. He's had some good years. Didn't play as much as you might think as far as targets and reps last year with Green Bay. They had so many guys they threw to. So I think he's got some upside. He's still a young guy. I'm excited to see him.
He's kind of a do-it-all player. He can play outside, he can play inside, has decent size, is willing to do the dirty work. He's a gritty player, will block. So he's kind of like you plug him wherever you need to in the offense, and he's going to give you good reps. I think that's the way they view him.
Yeah, and I think really that whole first group is versatile and can play inside or outside. It's going to give Sean Mannion a lot of flexibility.
All right, number 4, cornerback Reek Woolen. He inked a 1-year, $12 million contract with the Eagles this offseason. He's going to be a starting cornerback opposite Quinyon Mitchell. Rube, what do you think about him?
You know, I really like this move, and I know he's had some maturity issues, some inconsistency issues, but the dude is so talented. I mean, he's been a Pro Bowl, he's been an All-Pro. You see what he's capable of doing, and it's just up to the Eagles to kind of make sure he can play consistently at a high level and keep his emotions under check so he's not getting any taunting penalties or anything like that. But he's so gifted as a player. He's got that great size, and their depth at cornerback now is just off the charts. So can't wait to see how all these guys work together.
Yeah, it's fun because with him, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean, I mean, that probably is, or if not the best, it's one of the best cornerback trios in the NFL. And if you weren't excited about Riq Woolen, go back and listen to what Vic Fangio said about him last week. He seems pretty excited.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be? And it was a little surprising he didn't get the long-term deal he was looking for, big money. That's something the Eagles might have to deal with at the end of this year. He might be a one-year rental, but yeah, he's so talented, and it's going to be fun to watch him.
Yeah, the next guy is not a one-year rental. We're talking about the Mackey Award winner, the top tight end in college football last season, second-round pick, Eli Stowers. Rube, I know you're a big Stowers guy already.
I am. I'm excited to see him, and I think tight end is a position that in the last 10 years, rookies have come in and really been able to put up big numbers, where in the past, before that, it was really rare to see tight ends have that kind of production. I think the pro-style offenses in college have contributed to that. You see it with wide receivers as well. Now, I don't think he's going to be a 70-catch guy. They have too many weapons, but I really think he's going to make a difference. I like his athleticism. I like his size. I like his approach to the game. I could see him catching between 30 and 40 balls this year, and I think he'll be a fun guy to watch.
And he's going to be fun to watch in OTAs because this player in shorts, he better look the part, because I think once the pads come on, look, we know he's not a next-level blocker. That's something he's got to work on. But in a non-padded practice in May, I think he's going to look pretty good.
Yeah, and you want to see that connection between him and Jalen. I'm sure they've been throwing a lot together. There's a lot of new guys, a lot of new receivers, and a new tight end. But, yeah, you want to see how that chemistry is in the early goings.
At number 2, edge rusher Jonathan Grenard. The Eagles sent a pair of third-round picks to the Vikings for the former Pro Bowler, then signed him to a 4-year, $100 million contract. He's certainly someone we're going to have our eye on.
Yeah, more training camp than an OTAs for an edge rusher. You know, no pads and all that, but certainly a fun guy to watch, and paid him a lot of money, so can't have another 3-sack season like last year. I think he did play well last year, but you're certainly looking for more production than that.
Yeah, I think his production realistically is going to fall in line with what he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, double digits. But, I mean, the pressure numbers were still strong last year. And that's what the Eagles are banking on, that he just didn't get home to the quarterback, but he'll be able to do it in this defense. And with that line, I think that's very possible.
Yeah, this D-line is so deep and so talented. It's going to be fun to see how they all play together.
And topping the list at number 1, first-round pick Makai Lemon. The Eagles traded up 3 spots to take him 20th overall out of USC. The Biletnikoff Award winner figures to have a big role in year 1.
Yeah, and he's another guy. What's the chemistry like with him and Jalen? And, you know, you want to see his hands. You want to see him catch the ball like he just did there. I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. He comes so highly touted. Didn't think he'd be available where the Eagles got him. I thought he was going to be a top 15 pick. So let's see what he looks like out there on the practice field starting tomorrow. He's just such a talented kid, physical, yards after the catch, clever with the ball in his hands, fast, big.
Yeah, and to me, he's very pro-ready. He's already super savvy. So with some of these first-round receivers, you're drafting them based on the traits, and you're hoping they develop into a great player. I think we're going to see it from day one with Makai Lemon that he at least belongs at this level.
Yeah, I think that's true, and that goes back to just guys coming into the NFL being ready because of the offenses they ran in college, and he's polished. I mean, he looks like a wide receiver, an NFL wide receiver already. Yeah.